For those of you who aren't familiar with NBLC, we are an employer-led public policy advocacy organization committed to providing leadership and ways to make the North Bay more sustainable, prosperous, and innovative. North Bay Leadership Council members recognize the importance of leadership to find common ground, build consensus, and create effective solutions. Our members strive not only to lead by example, but to also recognize leadership in others. This award celebration is a recognition of deserving honorees, but also an effort to help foster a culture of leadership within our region. One way North Bay Leadership Council is fostering leadership is through our Youth Power Speech Contest. The goal of this contest was to encourage teens between 16 and 20 years of age to speak about a cause that was important to them and to describe what they were doing to improve the situation they identified. The prize for winning the contest was a $5,000 college scholarship and to get to be the keynote for today. The runner-ups also received scholarships. So I am so excited to introduce you to this year's keynote speaker, the winner of our Youth Power Speech Contest, Natalie Fox. Natalie wowed us with her leadership in seeing a problem and creating a unique solution. She is a senior at Tamalpais High School in Mill Valley. She found a summer job in her sophomore year researching food insecurity in the Bay Area and gained insight into how often low-income families are deprived of more than 3 square meals a day. Natalie discovered that these children are often deprived in other ways that can help them deal with their stressful circumstances and provide enrichment to their lives. Her solution was to start teaching a ballet class to little girls who had no access to the art programs and to open their world to the beauty of dance and music. Now Natalie is a strong advocate for ensuring that the arts are taught in all public schools and that every child has a chance to explore the wonders of the arts as they grow up. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Natalie Fox.
Good afternoon. I am very excited to tell you about why I think there needs to be more arts in our schools and to introduce to you some very special young girls who have inspired me to become an advocate for the arts. I hope after hearing me speak, you too will be an advocate for the arts. As a freshman in high school, I remember sitting down for the first time in a class called Social Issues. The teacher of this class is also the psychology teacher at my school, and the bookshelves were overflowing with textbooks on psychology. Something about the titles of these books really grabbed me. I wanted to delve into the subjects: adolescent psychology, abnormal psychology, behavioral psychology, and most of all, childhood trauma and stress. By the end of the second semester of my sophomore year, I decided I wanted more than what these textbooks could give me, and I did not want to wait until college. I thought I might be able to get exposure through research, so I reached out to the Department of Psychology at UCSF to see if they had any research opportunities for the following summer. I was extremely lucky that a new study was gearing up, looking at the impact of food insecurity on stressed children. If you do not know the term food insecurity, it refers to the state of being without reliable access to a sufficient quantity of affordable food. Luckily, this study needed a third research assistant, and I got the job. I spent the final months of that school year anticipating what the research assistant job would be like. I expected to be filing papers, shadowing a graduate student, and maybe inputting data into a computer. But I never imagined the amazing hands-on opportunity that I was about to start. The study involved volunteer families coming to our research site for several hours and taking questionnaires and eating lunch. I was thrilled to learn that the principal investigator assigned me to the role of interviewing the children. I had a script with numerous questions, extremely sensitive questions like, how many days per week do you go to school hungry? And do you have anyone to talk to when you are worried about there not being food to eat at home? Asking these questions was particularly difficult when the study participant was my same age of 15 years old, but the ages ranged between 5 and 16. The other daunting but incredibly valuable part of the study was our team visiting apartments of families who were unable to get transportation or means to come to our study site. This meant we were traveling to neighborhoods in South San Francisco, Daly City, and Oakland. And the experience of meeting and talking to the children in their own environment was even more enlightening. One house I will never forget walking into was the home of a girl I will call Sophia. Sophia sat in a plastic folding chair in her empty kitchen, and out the barred windows we could see flashing police lights, which is not an uncommon sight in South Stonehurst, Oakland, where crime rates are 298% higher than the national average, leaving Sophia and her family with a 1 in 9 chance of being a victim of any of these crimes. After meeting Sophia's exceedingly welcoming mother and older brothers, she led me to her cramped bedroom, which she shared with her 3 older brothers. I was there to interview Sophia about the extent to which her family's food insecurity affected her emotional state in and out of her home. But Sophia, who was only 8 years old at the time, did not understand why an utter stranger was sitting next to her on her bunk bed, asking questions about such a sensitive topic that she lived with on a daily basis. Her situational confusion resulted in her following every scripted question I had for her with a question for me. I'll never forget the look on her innocent face when she asked the question of what I do for fun. When I answered, I love to dance ballet, it was like the word ballet flipped on a light switch in her body. The awe radiating out of her eyes was as if I was some sort of professional ballerina, but while I had been dancing 8 hours a week for the past 10 years, I was no professional by any means. She had a million questions, and I promised to get to each of them once we finished our interview. But her biggest request was for me to give her a ballet lesson. By the time I left Sophia, I had taught her the 5 basic positions of ballet and some simple turns to practice around her apartment. She was glowing. It was a bond that we had created, and it felt familiar to me. It felt like the bond I had with my dance teachers at her age. The long car ride home gave me time to reflect on the twist our interview had taken. I felt useful. I felt proud, all due to Sophia's smile when I left her. However, I knew that Sophia's newfound love for dance was going to be hard for her to pursue, because if her family was unable to consistently afford food, they would not be able to afford the exceptionally high cost of further dance instruction. My afternoon with Sophia prompted me to reach out to the principal of Venetia Valley School with an idea. I selected Venetia Valley because its students are a similar demographic to those of the research study. I wanted to help these Sophias who had fewer resources to have the arts as a part of their lives. So I offered to teach dance classes free of charge to any student who wished to participate. The after-school director was thrilled and was willing to support me and help me in setting up a dance program. And it really helped me to see that there was excitement about my idea on the school's behalf. I immediately got to work setting up this dance program, and within 1 month after meeting Sophia, I had my first day at Venetia Valley. That day, I was cordially greeted by 20 third and fourth grade girls who were all eager to learn ballet. But I had no idea what to expect because I had never taught ballet or dance, and I certainly did not know how these girls were going to respond to or embrace the class. But these concerns were quickly allayed as each girl had a beaming smile for the full hour, gracious patience, and dedication to the steps I was teaching them. One day, a student walked into the classroom with puffy eyes and red cheeks. We'll call her Gina. Gina had just received the news of her sick grandmother, and I could tell she was embarrassed to sit with the rest of the group since she had just been crying. But before I had a chance to think about how I might handle the situation, Gina's uninhibited peers surrounded her with hugs and stories of their own. I then decided to apply what I know about child psychology to the situation, and I gave a moment for each student to share something good or bad that had happened that day or in the past week. I disregarded the strict rules of what a ballet class should be, and from that day on, I welcomed the sharing of stories at the beginning of each class, and I called it Circle Talk. Circle Talk made the class a safe place for more than just dance. It became a place for stressed children to become emotionally liberated. Weekly, I met with the girls after school, and I got to know each one. I remember one Tuesday, one student came to me and told me about how much she had been practicing at home. This really struck me. The fact alone that she was bringing ballet to her family and her home meant that ballet was giving these girls something to look forward to improve at, and it was making them a part of a bigger community, the dance community. It was only then that I realized that ballet had been having the same effect on me for the past 10 years. Over the course of the year, I got to watch each girl grow and improve as a dancer, a friend, and as a community member, even if their community only extended as far as the classroom walls. The year culminated in a performance on a stage in front of the girls' family, teachers, friends, and they were ecstatic when their parents brought them flowers. Costumes for the performance came from donations that were raised and processed through a fiscal sponsor that I was able to secure. And it is my plan to continue raising money and teaching so that one day I can have a ballet bar and hopefully ballet shoes for all of my students. It is now my second year teaching at Venetia Valley. My time teaching ballet has only just justified for me the need for arts in today's world. Put brilliantly by Alex Gray, transformative art must express something beyond where you are, and it demands that you grow beyond your current self. You reach toward the true, the good, and the beautiful, and become a better person through the struggle. The effects of dance on Sophia and the girls at Venetia Valley helped me to see how beautiful an artistic or athletic outlet can be for anyone. The idea that a person could be an absolute prodigy at something but would never know because they never tried frequently crosses my mind. Perhaps a professional singer never discovered their range until singing in choir at school, or a naturally fast runner only discovered their stamina when running the mile in PE. Like most children who are exposed to dance, there is an extremely low likelihood that any of my students will become professionals. But that is not what matters. Now that these students have an artistic outlet, they can discover if ballet is a passion of theirs like it is for me. In an ideal world, everyone would have the chance to try all the different arts. But access to these outlets is far from universal, and it is usually considered a luxury rather than a necessity. In the little experience I have had so far, I have been able to see firsthand the eye-opening effects that the arts can have on stressed children. I wish that all institutions could see how valuable the arts are to a developing child, and I wish that the artists themselves could see the gift that sharing their talent could be with children who do not have the means to attend performances or to enroll in lessons. I know that mine is just one class at one school, and that is just the tiniest drop in the bucket. Federal, state, and local funding do not provide anything close to sufficient support to allow teaching the arts in all public schools. The most affluent school districts have private foundations for raising money for the arts, and Venetia Valley's fantastic leadership has since formed a similar foundation. But the money they can raise is nothing close to what is necessary. Every public school should be able to have programs in the arts, and every district needs contributions, not just for one small class, but the funds to support teachers and supplies year after year. It may seem like this goal is too ambitious, but it is an unacceptable option to do nothing. Each one of us can make a difference in a child's life, and for children with stressful circumstances, like food insecurity and undocumented parents, having access to the arts could ease their difficult realities. I have felt the greatest reward in teaching ballet, and I hope that you will join me in supporting the arts in our schools so that every child can have a complete education, and we cannot allow the most needy children in our country to have this part of their lives be ignored. And if we don't support the arts, we will all be deprived, as many of the potential budding painters, musicians, chefs, and yes, ballerinas out there will not be discovered. Please join me in searching for them, one Sophia at a time. Thank you.
Wow. This was a dream come true for North Bay Leadership Council to be able to have the voice of our future speak to you today. And I couldn't be more proud that Natalie Fox won this contest and all that she's accomplished. I think we can only realize that there's such a future for her, and I can't wait to see with her leadership skills and her big heart where it takes her. So thank you so much, Natalie. That was a fabulous speech. We are so pleased to give you this certificate of achievement and recognition of winning the speech contest and a check for $5,000 for college scholarship. The best of luck to you, Natalie.